Hi again, everybody. This video is sponsored by contribution from Alicia, and here's her story. Ali, I could really use your advice. I am so pissed right now, and I'm not even sure the story I'm about to tell you really belongs on a narc channel, but I'll give it a shot anyway. I recently went no contact with my narc ex, the best thing I could have done for myself. I do not miss him, nor do I miss his shitty behavior. I am still working through the pain and anger of manipulation and deception I went through with him, but I am well on the road to recovery, and I will never look back. But another scenario came up in the last 24 hours that brought back many of the feelings I had from the debacle with my narc ex. I decided to have my house cleansed from the bad energies left behind from my narc ex. Now I realize you and or your viewers might find this hokey, but I do believe that good people carry good energy and bad people carry bad energy. And these energies can be left behind in places that these people spend a lot of time in. Although my narc ex never lived with me, he spent a lot of time at my house. So I wanted my house cleansed to make sure there were no ickies left behind from this sick monster. The healer I decided to have come to my house is someone I have known for a little over 10 years. He practices energy medicine and is supposedly well respected in his field. He is almost 80 years old and widowed. He has shared with me in the past that he has a crush on me, but I dismissed it as a harmless crush. I do not find him attractive in any way, nor have I ever given him the impression that I do. He's about 40 years older than me, and not to toot my own horn, but I am way out of his league anyway. I shared with him why I wanted him there for the house cleansing. So he came to my house yesterday to do the cleansing, and he left immediately after. However, before he left, he shared with me that he was getting ready to possibly take a 21-year-old Russian woman as his wife, whom he'd never met, and that he has gotten laid, and he hasn't gotten laid in the last 10 years. I found that to be too much information, but I did not add anything to the conversation, mainly to shut it down, as I was quite uncomfortable hearing this. So he leaves my house, and I received an email from him this morning that he sent at 3 a.m. In the email, he professes his undying love for me, that I am the only one he's ever cared about, and although he knows he might never have a shot with me, he would like for me to spend time with him, including sex. I first thought this email was from my narc ex posing as this healer because the first 2 to 3 sentences were written with the exact same wording and style that my narc ex used wording that was over the top bullshit. But as I read on, I realized it was actually from this healer. And I included in the bottom of this email is a fucking dick pic. At 80? Jesus Christ. I know it's him because his old shriveled up hand is in the picture holding himself. And not only that, the picture is titled cock ring. He clearly has a cock ring on. And let me remind you, he's almost 80 years old. I wished I hadn't looked at the picture, but my curiosity got the best of me, wondering, is this really what I think it is? Ollie, you cannot ever unsee something like this. I find this man physically repulsing. Not only is he older than dirt, but his ankles are swollen with varicose veins, his toes are all curled up, and he walks like an old man. While I'm not surprised he did this, at the same time I did not see it coming. I am absolutely enraged, and once again, just like from my narc ex, I feel like my boundaries have been violated. I really want to write back and rip this guy a new one and make him literally afraid to ever contact me again. But part of me just says to ignore it and block him. I feel like my healing process was going so well, and now I get this curveball. Unfucking believable. I am anxious to hear your thoughts as well as your viewers' thoughts on this. Thank you for taking the time to read this and share it on your channel, Alicia. Well, I don't mean to laugh, but you know, I was talking to somebody yesterday, coincidentally, who was a home health care worker, and she says she is constantly groped, harassed, oh my God, by these old men because they just don't get to an age where they just don't give a shit. The problem with a guy like this is, you know, if you fight back with him, in his mind, it's like, oh, she's fighting with me. She cares. And if she cares, I can flip this. Ignore it. Ignore it and never. And what's the point? He's an 80-year-old man, running I guess, a spiritual healing business or whatever the hell he's doing. And I don't mean to make fun of it, but I mean, that's a job that's rife for a scam artist, somebody looking to take advantage. The thing with the 21-year-old was he was testing the waters to see if you were going to be jealous, which obviously you're not. I guess maybe he has money, he thinks that'll be an allure. You know, when narcissists get old, they delude themselves. And when you got like an old senior narcissist like that, they're going to delude themselves for what they want most. And what he wants most is sex or companionship or some young wife that's clearly out of his league. I mean, an 80-year-old guy who's going to cleanse your house of spirits, you're going to have to be a little extra careful. Who knows how many women he might have tried this with or tried to seduce in his younger years, but you're pretty much coming into the homes of pretty susceptible people to begin with. So now I don't know if it's actual narcissism, but it sure sounds like a strain of it. But the boundaries are violated. I certainly understand after going through what you went through with your last ex, to have this guy to come in and try to, I guess, clean out your karma, clean out your filters, whatever you want to call it, and do the same thing. Maybe you got to question your thinking a little bit. Like these things that, you follow and you believe them, but they're also something that's very susceptible to narcissism. And remember what I've said. If you don't want to continue to repeat the patterns of your past, you got to change them. You got to do things that you typically wouldn't do, because you're doing things like maybe even bringing in something like a cleanser or a healer is just along the lines of the pattern of your behavior that allows you to accept narcissists into your life in the first place. So you really need to try to change your thinking. I think, you got to do some different things. Look, the guy's out of your house at this point. He's out of your house, and I think you might have been trying to make a point that he's out of your house and for your own sake, and it ended up you bringing in some other scam artist in. So I certainly understand your frustration, but knowing to cut your losses as well. Like you're going to go back and forth with this guy, tell him off so he can come back, and then that's what he wants. They always want to keep the fight going. So why respond? Just let it go. He's harmless to you at this point. And, chalk it up to a lesson learned. So thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your story. I hope that helps. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any advice or opinions in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you know what to do with the PayPal and the email links in the description box. I'll have the video right back to you. This is Ali Matthews. Thanks for watching. See you all again soon.